Kevin McCarthy, Republican from California, House Majority Whip, back with me now. And, sir, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
There was a vote yesterday, 414-2 in the House, that would encourage the White House to show its hand on what it proposes about the looming cuts that are coming up at the end of this year. What do you want to know?
Well, we want to know you got a plan. I mean, one thing this White House and this Democrat-controlled Senate, they've never even produced a budget. You've got a plan for where you're going. Sequestration says it's going to cut $1.2 trillion over 10 years, half of that coming from the military. How can you plan to protect this country and this nation around the world if you don't know what those cuts are going to be? The best thing to do is plan ahead of time. We think there's a better way of going about doing it. We're asking the White House to tell us what their plans are, and they refuse to tell it. It's politics as usual.
You just saw the poll there, about 72%. What do you make of that number?
Well, when you see 72%, that is a bipartisan part of this country. This is a country that understands small business creates jobs. And when the president wants to raise taxes, he hurts small business because most of them run as an S corp. You know, a bipartisan joint committee went through and studied it. It says more than 1 million small businesses will have their tax increased. And small business creates more jobs than any large corporation. And that's why we're hurting today.
Yeah, you heard Ben Bernanke. He was on the Hill this week in a couple of different hearings, one on the House side, one on the Senate side. His message was do no harm. I mean, he's concerned about this. What did you think of that comment?
I thought that comment was very telling because the number one thing that's hurting American job growth today is uncertainty and the policies coming out of this White House. Think for a moment when the president came in and the Democrats controlled all. He said the stimulus was his foreground for what his economic policy would be, that the stimulus would mean that unemployment would never go above 8%. Well, 40 months later, that's not true. Then Obamacare creates more uncertainty into the marketplace and the amount of regulations. That's why just next week we're going to pass a bill on the floor that says no new regulations until unemployment is under 6%.
Will you have Democrats vote in your favor on that? Do you know?
Yes, I believe we will.
How many?
And the other thing, well, normally we just get a handful. But you know what? We start somewhere. The biggest problem we have is even having a bill come up for a vote in the Senate. Harry Reid won't bring anything up.
Well, let's look under the hood on these tax negotiations. Where are they with your Democratic counterparts? Is there any common ground at the moment, or is this something that's going to drag for 5 months?
Well, I actually hope there could be common ground, because remember, when Democrats controlled all 2 years ago, they extended because they knew in a down economy, just like 72% of Americans, that you should not raise it. 130 Democrats in the House voted for that. But then just this week, I listened to Senator Patty Murray say she wants the country to go off the cliff for political reasons. That's what's wrong with Washington. We should put people before politics. And the best thing we could do is end uncertainty, extend the tax cuts into the next year to be able to work out an entire new tax reform.
Yeah, I'm still not clear on where the negotiations are.
Well,
are there
I'll tell
any?
you right now. Well, if the Dems want to go off the cliff, you know right where it is. There don't seem to be any. And we're wide open in the process. I know Mitch McConnell said, put both tax plans up for a vote in the Senate, where you put the president's tax increases and the extension of the tax cuts, and Harry Reid said he wouldn't even bring them up.
Oh. We'll see if that happens. Kevin McCarthy, thank you for your time. We'll talk again
Thanks for having me.
very soon. Thanks. Jamie.
A lot of people talking about this.